The New York City mayor's race starting to take some shape this after yesterday's primaries. Take a look at the hotly contested Democratic primary. Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams took the lead with Maya Wiley and Catherine Garcia running neck and neck. However, it was a disappointing night, though. The name everyone else may remember across the country is Andrew Yang, who dropped out after early results showing him a distant fourth place and 11% of the vote.
And on the Republican side, Guardian Angels founder Curtis Sliwa cruised to a decisive victory over Fernando Mateo with more than 70% of the vote. As it looks, it'll be Sliwa versus Adams. But again, with that ranked choice voting, we're still waiting for the final results to come in on the Democrat side. Joining us now, our panelists, Peter King, former New York Congressman, Republican. Also, Rebecca Walser, tax attorney, president of Walser Wealth Management, and Julio Rivera, editorial director at the Reactionary Times. As I was pointing out, panelists, there was a decisive winner on the Republican side, Democrat side. Reports it could take up to a few weeks rather, to produce the official winner due to ranked choice voting. Peter King, I'll go to you. You know New York politics. What do you make of these election results as we have them right now?
Curtis Sliwa won a solid victory. He based his whole campaign on law and order, support for the police, and his work in the subways over the years, the Guardian Angels. He had a name, and he won big. I endorsed Curtis. I campaigned for him. I did not expect the win to be that big. So it's good that he's coming out of the primary with a solid, uncontested win. As far as Eric Adams, I think that race took shape in that, again, crime became the major issue on the Democratic side. And unfortunately, you found the progressives rallying to Maya Wiley. That's why she came in second. She moved up because that is the anti-police faction of the Democratic Party. Eric Adams, whose record is far from perfect, but he is standing right now strong with the police, even though he had differences with the police over the years. But he was a captain. He was a veteran of 22 years in the NYPD. And I would say the more moderate Democrats, the pro-law and order Democrats, voted for Eric Adams. The progressives lined up behind Maya Wiley. And with a 9-point lead, you would think that Eric Adams should be in good shape. But again, with this ranked voting, no one knows how it's going to turn out. And you said it may be a few weeks. I hope it's only a few weeks. This could go well into the end of July if it really gets complicated.
Yeah, Julio Rivera, let me bring you into this conversation because there are several different parts that could be looked at here. One, he's obviously replacing de Blasio. That seems to be what everyone wants in the city for the most part. Obviously, it has happened. He's met his term limit. But crime is number one issue. But across the country, everyone recognizes the name Andrew Yang. He ran as a presidential candidate there for the Democrats. That obviously failed. He ran now. He's dropped out. This failed as well. What happened to Andrew Yang, Julio?
You know what? I think he's just not as popular as maybe he got a lot of attention, obviously, when he ran in the presidential race. He wanted to give everybody a universal basic income, which I'm surprised that type of a politician didn't resonate more in heavily progressive New York City. I mean, I certainly didn't expect him to finish last, but apparently, as Peter King points out, the progressives have decided to get behind Maya Wiley in this and her wild proposals that taking $1 billion out of the police budget, basically 20% of it, and reallocating it. So, hopefully for New York City, because it's something that, dear to my heart because I grew up so close to it. Hopefully Curtis wins. I find that this is going to be a difficult proposition based on the fact that a lot of the Republicans that would have supported Curtis, a lot of them left en masse from New York City, in light of the coronavirus pandemic and a lot of the problems with law and order that Curtis is promoting. A lot of those Republicans are no longer in New York City. Eric Adams is a little bit better than Maya Wiley, but he's also one of those progressives that is dead set on appointing a female police commissioner just to kind of check off the box. Hopefully, if he does win and he does appoint somebody, it'll be because of merit and not just because of their actual sex.
Yeah. New Yorkers faced with an interesting task of really ranking the candidates, right? You might have a candidate who you like, someone who you like almost as much. You would have the chance to put that on the ballot there. Rebecca, does this seem to be a trend? Ranking candidates in order of preference? Do you think this could catch on nationally?
This is already, Emma, already going national. They've already tried to implement this in multiple states. The state of Florida, my home state, basically rejected it last year. The Boston Globe had an opinion piece late 2020, where they specifically said why ranked choice voting is a tool to eliminate choice and actually push a much more progressive ideology. Now, I'm paraphrasing that. The Globe didn't say all that, but basically how they were explaining how ranked choice voting is actually bad for democracy and not a good thing. And we can take this particular example in New York City mayoral race to show you exactly how this is going to come down and why it's going to take. Why does an election that happened on a Tuesday in June take till the end of July potentially to determine? And it's because of how the iterations go, Emma. What they actually do is they say, all right, you see Eric did not win a full plurality of the Democratic vote, 50% or greater. So now they eliminate the last option, and that's why you see Yang dropping out so quickly. So they eliminate the people at the last, and the people that voted for the last candidate, those votes get automatically reallocated to their second choice. And then if there's a 50% clear winner from there, then they won't have to do another iteration. But if there isn't, then they go to the next to the now new last candidate, and they take their second choice and they allocate those votes to the second candidate. So you could very easily have a situation where the second Democratic candidate overtakes Eric Adams to become the primary candidate, even though he actually beat her in the election. This is ranked choice voting, and it is a way to potentially get candidates that are more on the progressive side, not so mainstream, beating mainstream candidates that are actually winning. And it is a problem for democracy.
Yeah, something smells funny about the whole thing. I mean, it happening this year when all these this election law is trying to be pushed. New York City is trying this whole ranked voting thing. It seems to overcomplicate it and already what appeared to be a complicated system in 2020. And as you pointed out, as intricate as it is, others could overtake the others based on the rank. And also, you're not going to know the results for another month. It just doesn't smell right. All right, Peter King, Rebecca Walser, Julio Rivera, thank you so much. We appreciate it.